Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to this live webinar on behalf of the TEFL org. My name is Carl. I am one of the tutors here at the TEFL org. I handle the face-to-face weekends where we train up new teachers in Northern Ireland and some in the Republic of Ireland. This is a live webinar. It's talking about teaching English online in 2024. So that's going to be the main topic of today's webinar. But as this is a live webinar, we do answer any questions that we might have in the chat. So quite often people put in questions that have nothing to do with the main topic of the webinar, and that is absolutely fine. So if you've got a question about teaching English as a foreign language, please do put it in the chat or the comments, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it might be. They will come to us, they will come on the screen, and I will try my best to answer them. Or Alan, who's monitoring the chat, might answer with a typed message. I've been lucky enough to have taught in many places around the world. Sorry, I should say hello. Did I not say hello? Please do put in the chat hello and tell us where you are in the world, because that always makes us feel good as well. I'm in Northern Ireland, as I said. I've been lucky enough to have taught in many places around the world. I've taught in Southeast Asia, in East Asia. I've taught in the Middle East. I've taught in Europe. I've taught here in the UK and Ireland as well. So if you've got any questions about going abroad, not just about teaching online, then maybe this is the time to ask them. Hi, everyone saying hello now. Hello, Colchester, Plague von Karma. Hi. Joan was in Holland. Hello. David's in Lincolnshire. Daniela's in Germany. Erica's in Toronto, Canada. Please, wherever you are in the world, say hello. You never know, you might find a TEFL friend near you. Right. Let's get going about teaching English online in 2024. Okay, so just going to go through some of the questions that I get asked quite a bit. I've been teaching online since, or let's say for about 10 years now. So I first started by just getting my own students online, learning a bit about marketing, that kind of thing. And it's sort of gone on from there. I'm not a 100% online teacher. I do like face-to-face. I do teacher training. I also do examining. But one of the questions that I do get asked quite a bit is, what do I need in order to teach online? And the first thing that you will need is a 120-hour TEFL certificate. So this is a training course where you go to someone like us, tefl.org, and we will train you up. You give us some money, we give you access to the course, you get access to a tutor, you do some exercises, you do some assignments, and then you end up with, if you pass, with a 120-hour TEFL certificate. Now, why do you need this certificate to teach online? Firstly, schools ask for this. So if you're going to go work for a school, they want to put people in front of their students who know how to teach. Got a TEFL certificate, you will know how to teach. If you're going to be a freelancer where you don't actually have to deal with a school, the students aren't going to ask for your TEFL certificate, but you need to be a good teacher in order to do that online freelancing, because then you get repeat customers and it will help you with your marketing and that kind of thing. So you do need a 120-hour TEFL certificate for that as well. Right, obviously need a computer. And believe it or not, I get quite a lot of people asking me, can I teach online with my mobile phone, or can I teach online with a tablet? I always say that really don't get into it unless you have a computer. Okay. For a few reasons. One, they tend to be a bit more powerful than mobile phones. If you've got a newish computer, you tend to have a bigger screen. You tend to be able to share documents. You tend to be able to sort of move a webcam a little bit more easily to show some documents whilst being able to see the screen, that kind of thing. So I think a computer is that. Now, some companies will also ask you specifically to teach on a computer. They won't let you teach on a mobile phone. They won't let you teach on a tablet. Okay. But saying that, you may be able to use a phone or a tablet. I get students that ask me to use I get students that I'm talking through a computer, but they're talking to me through a mobile phone, or they're talking to me through a tablet. They seem to say they don't have many problems. I sometimes doubt that when I'm trying to share screens, or if I'm trying to get them to go to another document of that. Also, if you want them to type, it's difficult. So, but You might see the odd company out there that will allow you to teach on a mobile phone or a tablet, but generally they ask you to use a computer. Now, you need to have a good internet connection. Now, what is a good internet connection? If you go work for a company, they will probably test your speed. How do they do that? They connect you with a Zoom call. They ask you to share your screen. And this is sometimes done in the interview. And then you go to a certain website and it will tell you the speed of your internet connection. If it's a good one, if it's a bad one, depends whether you get the job sometimes. If you're working as a freelancer, students won't ask you to check your internet connection. But if you have a connection that keeps dropping, you won't get students come back. They just won't be repeat customers. They won't say you've got good teacher technique. It's important to the students as well. Now, you may need a degree. So some companies might ask you for a degree. And do you know what? I don't necessarily think it's true that they specifically need you to have a degree to show that you're a good teacher. What they sometimes are asking that for is in order to help them fit into legislation from their own country. So they might want people with a degree because the government decides that people need to have a degree that work for them as a teacher, that kind of thing. So you may need a degree. You will also see plenty of online teaching jobs where you don't need a degree, but you may need a degree. You may need a native speaker level of English. Now, they will want you to have a good level of English, but you see adverts that say native speaker level. Now, you'll see jobs that just say native speakers, and you'll see jobs that say native speaker level. You'll see jobs that say a neutral accent. Now, if English is your second language, you might be able to get up to this level, and well done if you are, because it's a really high level of a second language to get to. Again, they might test your level either in an interview, or they may ask you to produce some sort of certificate to show that you're of a native speaker level. Okay. Just something to bear in mind. Okay. Gristilla, thank you for your question. I'm definitely going to get to that in time. And Alan has also put links in there for online jobs that do not need a degree, because yes, there are jobs out there that do not need a degree, but there are also jobs out there that will ask you for a degree. Okay. So one thing to look at. Finally, you need to have some computer skills. I have done training online with people who want to become online teachers, and it never really surprised. Well, it used to surprise me, but it doesn't really surprise me anymore about the amount of people that have quite low levels of computer skills. Like if I ask them to type into a chat box, the trainee teacher is like, "What's a chat box? I don't know what this is." And okay, fine, you might be learning on the job as you go along, but if you start really, like if your first lesson is and you're at quite a low level, you've got to learn how to teach, you've got to learn how to handle students, and you've got to learn how to teach how to use computers as well, how to use software. Just be aware of teaching yourself some computer skills that are needed. Things like opening PDFs, typing into shared documents, clicking on links, using shared folders, I think are really important, because you might have to explain that to the students. And if you aren't very sure how to do it, trying to explain it is quite difficult. Right. Another question I get asked a lot is, how much can I earn? And unfortunately, it really does depend. Depends on a lot of factors. Okay. And I think the most important thing to answer is whether, if it's a good wage or a bad wage, is how much is a good wage for you? People watching this webinar will be from all over the world. And if you've got people that live in, let's say, New York, London, Sydney, expensive cities to live in, being a TEFL teacher and the wages you will see advertised in the jobs might not be enough for you. Now, what is a great thing to do is supplement your income. So if you're needing some extra money, work 2 evenings a week, depending on your time zones, work a Saturday, something like that to supplement, to add a bit of extra money. It's a perfect job for that. On the flip side of that, if you're from a country where the cost of living is a lot less and you see jobs that are advertised for $10, $12, $15 an hour, that might actually be quite good for you. So it really does depend where you live and how much is a good wage for you. You're not going to be super rich working for a company as an online teacher. You might get rich, and I live a pretty good life here from my online teaching. You might get you might do okay from finding your own students, but going to work for a company, you're not going to make a huge amount of money and the wage might be low for you. All right. You will see, you start looking at job adverts, and I'm going to put some links in a minute. If you will see a range of jobs being advertised in terms of wage, you will see jobs advertised for $3 or $4 an hour. You will see jobs advertised for $50, $60 an hour. The average is sort of somewhere in the middle there, probably below the average in theory. Be aware, don't get disheartened because the jobs you see are really, really poorly paid, because there are jobs out there that do pay well. Now, of course, you can set your own rates if you're going to find your own students. Fantastic. This is the best way to do it. Okay. So you could go work for a company like Preply, or you could find your own students and you can charge them whatever you want to do, whatever you feel. Now, don't be unrealistic here, especially at the start. Be competitive. Look on Preply, how much are people charging for the sort of thing that you're trying to do? What's a comparison? Because if you go straight in at the start, you're more expensive. Students aren't going to find you. Students aren't going to use you. Okay, so have a look. Be competitive. Being your own boss is the best way economically. This was true 10 years ago, and it's true now in 2024. Okay, find your own students. Have a niche. I'm going to talk about this on a separate slide. Charge them a good wage that you are happy to work for, and hopefully it will go from there. Now, so people say to me, should I work as a company for a company? Should I work as a platform such as Preply, or should I be freelance 100%? Right. So companies are good for new teachers. So if you go on our website, tefl.org, look at the job center, find the jobs that are advertised on there, companies that are advertising. I think they're a really good way into teaching online for new teachers. They tend to provide good materials. They tend to provide good curriculum. They find you your students. They help you with the tech on the whole. Some leave you to it completely on your own, but companies tend to be good for new teachers. If I was getting into teaching English online, I'd maybe do that for a term, see how I go, see if I like it, then after that. But the pay is generally lower on them. There's no way around it. There's less flexibility. You are sort of tied to what the teachers say, okay, to what the company says. Now, Alan is going to put a chat put a link into the chat of the top online teaching companies. It's a link to our website. Alan's going to put that in there for 2024, okay? Because I can see some of you asking about what company should I work for. I'm not going to go into ins and out of every company, and some companies might suit one, might not suit another person. But there'll be a link in the chat here about what the best online companies are. Right. So then the next thing is platforms. So what are the platforms? They're basically like a database of teachers that are advertising themselves on the same website to kind of work freelance. So you log into something like Preply, and there's loads of people teaching. You can narrow the niche. The students can search for certain ones, that kind of thing. But there's a picture of me. There might be a picture of someone else, and they will be all over the place, and the students decide who they want to. All right. Now, these platforms do make finding students more easy, because the students come to these websites and then they have a look and then they decide who they think's best. Okay, so platforms do make students finding more easily than if you were going to be fully freelance where you have to find your own students. Okay, the pay can sometimes be higher than also working for a company. Yeah, but there is competition. It can be quite competitive. You might find that there's lots of people trying to teach the same thing that you are. Maybe there's lots of people maybe from your country trying to teach it, and that can be a little bit difficult for them to stand out in a crowd. Right. So then last one is full freelancers. So this is where you have total freedom. Nobody's helping you. The platforms aren't helping you. A company's not helping you. And you have to find your own students. You do that through social marketing, that kind of thing, social media marketing. You have to make your own resources. You have to do everything that is involved to being a teacher yourself. You don't get any help from it. This is how I do it. This is what I like doing. And it has worked on the whole pretty well for me. However, you can have moments of boom and bust. So I do go through periods where I get lots and lots of inquiries of people wanting to learn with me, people that want to give me money to pay my mortgage. But I've also had periods where I don't have many coming in. And, you know, if that's okay for you and you're happy to do that, then I think that works pretty well. It's quite difficult to get a full schedule within sort of the first 6 months, I would say. Okay. I think it takes a lot of time to get a full schedule coming in as a freelancer at a wage that you're happy with, right? So what do I recommend? Companies, platforms, or freelance? I recommend do all three. If you can, go work for a company. While you're working for a company, put yourself up on the platform. See if you can schedule yourself for the other times. Or should you be freelance? Okay. And then so at the same time, you're building your website, you're building up your social media presence, you're commenting on things that you see, you're chasing students that are asking for teachers, all that kind of thing. Do all three together with the long-term goal to be fully freelance. That's what I recommend. But at the start, don't go all in on one, do a bit of each. How can I find a job? So I believe there are 3 main websites for online teaching jobs. There are others, but these are the 3 that I recommend and the 3 that I think are good. The first one is our website, tefl.org. At the top, there's Job Center. Click on that. There's online teacher jobs advertised in there. I think eslcafe.com is good. Go to the International Job Board and you will see lots and lots of companies advertising there. Find one that you like the look of. Tefl.com. This is different from us. We are tefl.org. There is tefl.com. And that company lists, and all of these companies list face-to-face jobs as well. All these websites, sorry. But tefl.com has lots of listings as well for online teaching jobs. But don't just look at those 3. What you also need to do is do other ways. Google searching for jobs is good. So if you put into Google something like online teaching English jobs, online TEFL jobs, online ESL jobs, things like that, put that into Google, do some searches. You'll find ones that come up. It will search for things like Indeed, all that kind of thing. There are Facebook groups where companies advertise for people. So this tends to be a load of teachers within a group. A company will come on and say, look, this is my job. If you just put into Facebook online teaching jobs, you'll find those groups. Okay. Now, the other one is LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn profile. And I don't use it a huge amount to find students. I don't, use it a lot. I should probably use it more because I know people that have had good success, especially with business English on LinkedIn. But I do get recruiters messaging me. I also get weekly emails, I guess it is, from LinkedIn themselves showing jobs. There are also lots of jobs being listed on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a really good way to find online teaching jobs. Right. What should you expect as an online teacher? Right. First of all, you should expect to need energy. If you're the sort of person that just wants to sit very, very quietly in a chair and not really get involved, online teaching is not for you. You have got to be lively. You've got to be active. You've got to be friendly. Now, you don't have to talk a lot, but you do have to be present in the call a lot. If you're teaching kids, especially, the students get this from you. If you're going to make them play games, that kind of thing, you've got to play the games. You do need a bit of energy. I do believe that it only really suits people that are happy to have a bit of energy. Now, I'm not saying you have to be up and about and jumping around, but In your voice, you need to have some energy. In your personality, you've got to be willing to get involved and need a bit of energy. You should expect to have fun. Teaching, I believe, across anything is fun and should be fun. And if you get students that are nice and students that come along with you and what you want to do, you will have fun. You will help them improve. That is fun. That is nice. That is good. You should expect to teach a wide range of ages. Now, if you're freelance and you've got your niche and you and I've done webinars where I talk fully about finding your niche and talk about being a freelancer. It might be worth watching those if you want to know exactly more about that. But when you start, I believe you will be teaching a wide range of ages. If you go work for a company, you will teach kids as young as 3, 4, maybe. You will teach adults as old as 60 or 70, maybe. So, and everything in between, wide range of ages. If you limit yourself at the start to just one, but if you say you only want to teach adults, that's fine if that's all you want to do, but you will struggle to get full work, I believe. Okay. There will be some quiet kids. There will also be some quiet adults, but you will have quiet, shy kids. And you've got to find a way of getting them involved. You've got to find a way of chatting to them, if that's sort of in breakout rooms, that kind of thing. But you will have some quiet kids. And I think online, if a kids are quiet, that is magnified a bit because you're looking at a quiet kid like this. Whereas if you're in a classroom, that quiet kid's all the way over there, it's a bit easier to sort of hide. They're a bit easier for them to hide from you. You will have loud kids who want to take it over the class, who want to take over the call, who want to talk a lot. You've got to work out how to manage that kind of thing. Now, you should also expect time zone issues. So when, for example, when clocks change around the world, that can cause problems. So you've got to be on top of that kind of thing. Also, you might need to be teaching early in the morning, or you might be teaching late at night, depending on where you are in the world. That's part of it, really. And you will get up and down technology. You will have really good days with the technology when nothing goes wrong. The students know exactly what they're doing. You know exactly what you're doing, but you will also get days when the connection's bad to East Asia. You will get days when nothing works or the students forget how it works. You'll get students having blackouts, having power cuts. It's kind of normal. Right, so what do you need to apply in 2024? You need a CV. Get yourself a good written CV. I've done webinars about this over the last few weeks. You need to get your certificates in order. So, make sure you won't be able to apply really for jobs until you've actually got your 120-hour TEFL certificate in your hand. You will probably need an introduction video. So this is a video where you're talking to the company and you're saying why you want to do this job, and they're checking your voice, they're checking your accent, all that kind of thing. You will need any document the company wants. I've had many people who go, that company wanted a copy of my passport. I would not. Why do they need a copy of my passport? I'm not traveling now. I won't work for them. Okay, fine. Who am I to tell you you've got to send your passport through? But if a company wants that, you've got to go for it. My passport is all over. Copies of my passport are all over the world with hundreds of people that I've never met. And then you need to start preparing for the interview. Again, I've done webinars where I talk specifically about TEFL interviews. Right, how can you find your own students? If you do in 2024 want to find your own students, now you will need some marketing knowledge. There are loads of videos about this. There are loads of websites about this, about sort of marketing funnels, about, social media, search engine optimization, all that kind of thing really sort of falls under marketing. You'll need some knowledge to find your own students of this. Just having one page up on the internet somewhere or having one Facebook page isn't going to be enough. You need to do a variety of different ways doing it. Now, I still believe you need to get a niche. Now, what does that mean? If you say you are Carl, the English teacher, you will find that it's hard for them to find you because research generally shows that students don't type in improve my English. They tend to type in things like improve my speaking, improve my reading, improve my IELTS English, improve my business English. And if you could be Carl, the business English teacher, that's narrows it down a bit. You'll get less time wasters because You might, when they say improve my English, what skills, grammar, vocabulary, what could it be? The other thing as well is, if you have got 20 hours that you devote to teaching, and you're Carl, the English teacher, and you do a 2-hour speaking lesson with one kid, then you do a 2-hour listening lesson, then you do an IELTS lesson, then you do a IELTS reading lesson, then you do a business English lesson to fill up the 20 hours. That is a lot of prep. You also might just do that lesson once and they'll never see you again. Whereas if you've got the niche and you're repeating your same language lessons, you're improving those lessons, you know exactly what you need to do to get rid of them, I think it's a bit better. Start building a presence, not around you right now, but online. You know, get a TikTok page going, get an Instagram page going, get on Facebook, get on Reddit. I think Reddit is underused. Get on, have I forgotten any? YouTube. Yeah, start building a presence. You might not make any money out of that Instagram, that WhatsApp, or Instagram or TikTok, whatever it might be, but it pushes people towards your website is a good thing. Get a website. It's generally quite cheap. It's generally tax deductible to get websites. Look about building it yourself. You don't need to give a company loads of money. I've built my own website. I taught myself how to build websites. Work out your terms and conditions as well. You know, how much are you willing to work for? What are you going to do if a student cancels? Are you going to refund them? Are you not going to refund them? There we go. All right. Right. Are there still opportunities in 2024? Now, COVID was a game changer for online teaching. At the start of COVID, when the world started going into lockdown, got loads of requests and it was fantastic. I did all right. Then lots of people got into online teaching because they started to lose their jobs, or they read, or it became kind of cool and fashionable. And I had a lot of competition all of a sudden for the kind of things that I was teaching. And because there was competition, my rates fell. But there was loads of students. But there was big competition. My rates started to slowly fall as there was a bit of a competition to grab students. Now, people that got into online teaching in COVID times are now sort of moving out of it. And we here at the TEFL get lots of people nowadays asking for face-to-face jobs around the world. They don't necessarily want to go work online. That means that, yes, there are still opportunities. There are still students willing to learn online. There are still companies wanting to get teachers to teach online. And teaching online is now not seen as there's no way you can learn English you can't learn a language online. No, it's impossible. No, you have to do it face to face. That's what people used to tell me. Nowadays, it's kind of normal. Companies are still advertising. You will see jobs advertising. Students still want to learn. Students still want to pay for lessons. The market will still grow. You know, it's up and down, but it's growing again. There's still people wanting to learn online. Students are willing to pay more for good lessons. What I tend to find is that my students don't stay with me for 6 months. They tend to stay with me until they've hit their goal. And that could be after 2 lessons. That could be after 1 lesson. Could be after 10 lessons. But once they've hit that goal, they're off, but they're willing to pay for it for more. Now, what are my tips for teaching online? Work for a variety of companies while freelancing, and that does include face-to-face. Don't discount working face-to-face in the country where you are listening to right now. There are jobs around you doing that, and you might go work face-to-face. There are companies around you teaching English. Believe it or not, find them, and you might go work for them whilst also teaching online. Be honest and know your computer skills. If you don't know basic computer things, I'm not saying you need to learn how to program in Python or whatever language it is. Word processing skills, PowerPoint skills, PDF skills, know your computer skills. If you don't like doing it, if you don't want to get into it, I think this might not be the job for you. Be honest and realize it can take a while to get a full schedule. You're not going to get your certificate and get a full-time job teaching online within a week. I would have thought. If you do, fair play to you, well done. Working for a company, yes, they might give you a full-time load of hours. I would be very careful going all in with one company. See if you can work for 2 or 3 different companies so you can find one that you like. If you're going to go freelance, it will take a while. Okay. It's not impossible, but it will take a while. Basic internet marketing. The local college near me here in Belfast gave out free internet marketing courses. Have a look at that kind of thing. See what's around. And just finally be honest with yourself. Is this actually for you? There are lots of ways to make money around the world. Okay. And being an online teacher might be perfect for you. I love it. It's good. I'm not trying to put you off, but be honest with yourself. There are different ways of making money. There are ways in your country where you might be able to make more money working. I'm not saying go sell drugs or anything like that, but be honest with yourself. Is this what you want to do? Do you want to be stuck looking at this webcam, for 40 hours a week? If you, do you want to be stuck in your office working by yourself for 40 hours a week? I like it. Do you like it? Be honest with yourself if this is actually for you. Thank you. Right, let's get to some of these questions. I can see some really good points coming in as well. Thank you very much. Right. Gristilla, I hope you're still with us. Hi. Hello from Mauritius. Oh, Mauritius. You've just completed your advanced 120-hour TEFL certificate. Great. You look forward to teaching online? Good. I'm glad you do. If you did it with us, Gristilla, we can help you. Okay, for sure. Contact us if you need any help at all. If you got your 120-hour TEFL course from us, tefl.org. Hello to everyone. Slovakia, Steventown, Italy. Hello. Christina, where can you apply to teach online? So, right, let me just get up this screen here again. Let me see. There we go. So this is our website, tfl.org. Now we have a blog bit here. If you do a search, the search box are there. If you do a search there saying top online teaching companies to work for, you will see a whole list of information here about companies that you might have heard of or you might not have heard of. Okay, so I would have a look at that. Now, you don't apply through this website, you contact these companies individually. So I would go on that on our website and see. Christina, good luck. Erica, hi. Do targeting more niche focused students, for example, business English, get yes. Now, a few reasons. Now, right, the biggest market out there is for kids. I'm just changing my chair to get a bit more comfortable. There are loads of kids out there whose parents want them to learn English. All right. Now, the problem is they tend to not pay for an individual class as much as an adult does. So companies will get 4 or 5 kids in, and that will make them a lot of money, but that's not necessarily you. Now, if you are freelancing and trying to find your own students, go down the route of looking at niches which will improve the student's life. Will it get them a new job? Will it get them a higher wage? Will it allow them to study somewhere? And these do tend to be in quite specific niches. So business English, for example, if you can advertise yourself, what's your name? Erica. Hi. If you can teach yourself as Erica, the EFL business marketing genius, for example, and you can somehow get that into you can say to students, look, I will show you how to type in English business Facebook page, Facebook posts at work, something like that. You can tell business English isn't my niche, Erica. And then a student will look at that and go, right, that's exactly what I need. If I get this, I will sell more of my products. Great. It's not going to take me 4 terms to do this. Erica can help me after 2 or 3 lessons. Then you do that, they might be willing to pay. You do something like an English exam. Let's go with something like Trinity, okay? Because there are not, everyone thinks, oh, it's got to be IELTS. It doesn't have to be IELTS. There's Trinity out there as well. For example, there's Duolingo, there's Cambridge exams, there's TOEIC, there's loads of different English exams. If you say, I will show you how to get the B1 exam in Trinity. And the student goes, do you know what? I need that in order to start university. Great. That's exactly what I need. I don't need a general English teacher that will teach me vocabulary. I just need to specifically pass this test. I'm happy to give Erica 100 quid to do that. All right. You might only see them 3 or 4 times, but they're more likely to pay better rates. Okay. Hope that answered your question, Erica. David, hi. What age ranges demand the most online teaching? I think the majority of classes out there, if you're going to go work for a company, the majority of classes are kids classes. Yeah. The majority, not all, but the majority are. Now, if you're going to be freelance, I think probably to get students, finding adults is the best, unless you can sort of find kids, rich parents of kids. They tend to not pay a huge amount of money, kids for one-on-one lessons. Some do, but not all. I don't think there's a single age, but for working for companies, it's definitely online. It's definitely younger, under 13 maybe. Going to work for yourself as a freelancer, probably adults. I don't think that answers your question. Does it, David? I don't know. You got another question. Let me see if I can help you with this one. Is online teaching common when teaching businesses? Yes. I get inquiries about teaching business English. I don't personally do it. I'm not very good at it, but I do get inquiries about it. The most common for teaching business English tends to be companies. So, for example, when I worked in Japan, I worked for a company. That company, that language school, not like Apple, I don't know, NatWest, where, I'm not talking about companies. I worked for an English school. That English school company paid for me to get on a train and go to the office of a company and teach the people in that office. That was still, I believe, the most common way of teaching business English around the world. But I do think that companies nowadays are more open to training and are more open to do it, for sure. Okay. Sorry, I think that answered your question, David. Joan VR, hi again. You've been on these webinars before. Hi, Joan. You're looking at using shared folders. What's my preferred system? I use Google Drives. I sometimes use OneDrives, depending on how full they get and how much it costs me. You can use Dropbox. I think there's nothing wrong with using Dropbox. All of them is fine. Be aware that students probably are more what students are more likely to have. If you do a Dropbox, and I don't know how you log into Dropbox. So can you log in with your Hotmail or your Gmail? I don't know. Or do you need to have a separate account? Students don't like setting up loads of accounts all over the place. And also, if you're going to do it in the class, it takes up time. So go with the common ones. That's what I would say. Ones that they're more likely to already have an account with. Okay. Yeah, Google Drive. Von Karma says that. Good. Interesting. I've never used Discord to teach like Zoom. Never. I'm in chat groups for Discord, but I've never ever used it. Why is it better, Von Karma? I need to know. Please do put that in the chat. David, is online teaching more popular in some countries as opposed to other countries? I think nowadays the whole world's pretty much open to it. Do you know what? I don't get many Japanese people wanting to learn online, or Korean for myself. I've tried to go after Japanese students because they generally are quite happy to pay. I've not got very far, and they do tend to want to teach face-to-face. And I think that's probably the same with Korea. If you disagree, please do put it in the chat. But I think it's still very, very popular with Southeast Asia, such as Vietnam. I think in Thailand. I think it's also popular in East Asia with China as well, if you can get around the firewalls, especially if you're going to go work for a company. I do also get quite a few South Americans messaging me for lessons as well, and that can be quite good with the time zones here in the UK. Yeah. Hi, Plague. Pro tip for time zones. Do you want to? You can do this webinar for us, Plague, next week. Pro tip for time zones: try to get them to give you a GMT offset. Yes. Getting them involved with the time zones, it can be a new concept for them. They don't tend to do it. Yeah. So you can also, there are websites like Time and Date Calculator where you can send out links where it automatically calculates all that kind of thing. Yeah. On my website, I have a calendar. When they book a lesson, the calendar automatically shows the time zones in different places around the world. That can also be good. Hi, David, again. Do I operate or advertise programs where you complete the TEFL whilst teaching? I'm trying to work out this question. I don't really know. Alan, can you help me out? Am I being dumb here by not quite understanding this question? Do you mean operate or advertise programs where you complete the TEFL whilst teaching? I'm going to come back to that question, David, but please explain it if you can a bit more if you're still there. Plague, hi. When it comes to marketing, try entrenching yourself in language learning communities first. Yeah, all good tips there. All really good tips there. Yeah. Nice one. Yeah, and you've got even more in there. Please do keep putting them in there. Chakib, hi. How to check if the TEFL certificate provider is legit? Interesting on this. Right. So there are lots of companies out there that offer you TEFL certifications. Now, I don't want to name other companies, but here at the TEFL org, we are accredited. What does that mean? It means that an outside company that has nothing to do with us comes in and checks the standard of the TEFL company. And they check the tutors to make sure that the tutors are talking sense and are not, just talking about something else when they should be talking about this. They check the course materials. They check the marketing materials to make sure that they're not lying, all that kind of thing. So Chakib, go on a website for the TEFL provider, go through and check if they are accredited, ACCREDITED, or accreditation. Look at it all. Go through and check the links. Make sure that the companies that are doing the accreditation are legit. Finally, Chakib, quite often you get what you pay for, I find, in TEFL. Okay, don't necessarily go down the cheapest route. And I can say before I had anything at all to do with TEFL org, when I was working as a recruiter in Azerbaijan and when I was working as a recruiter in China, as in recruiting teachers, I would check TEFL certificates and I would check the quality of the company. So there you go. Do that yourself. All right. Thank you, Plague, about Discourse. Look at all this information about Discord. Sorry, I might have to try that one. David, sorry. Okay, there's your question. You're referring to completing the TEFL course on the job rather than right. So companies tend to not take people on unless they've got that certificate in their hand. Okay. Why? Because they want to make sure that the teacher's good. And if a teacher says, yeah, I'm doing my TEFL at the moment, I mean, that could literally just mean they've paid the course fee and logged in. They've still got the 119 of the 120 hours to go. So companies won't take you on before doing that. Okay. Now you will be able to start finding your own teachers, your own students, sorry. But companies won't take you on unless you've got that certificate in your hand. Okay. Muchis, how do I know that this TEFL provider is accredited with the right authority? So, I mean, there's a link in there about accreditation. Right. So you need to, right. For example, so some countries around the world want certain people to have a certain certificate or a certain level of certificate in order to teach there. I'm not going to go into it. No, actually, that's probably not the right way of phrasing this. I'm getting myself mixed up here. Right. Basically, Moochings, what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to worry about authorities. What you need to worry about is the company that you're going to go work for. And a company will say a number of how many hours they want you to teach. 120 hour tends to be the magic number. So if you see a company that says you need a 120 hour certificate, then go and and you've got 120 hour certificate, that tends to be okay. However, that company might look at the company that is recruiting you might look at the company that your TEFL certificate comes from and check whether that is a good quality TEFL company. All right. So that's why it's important. Now, what I was trying to say at the start, which got me into a mix up, is that within a country, there are different types of jobs. So, for example, with my TEFL certificate, I can go and work in language schools in the UK. I can go work in universities in the UK. That's my specific one. However, I couldn't go necessarily and work in senior schools or in primary schools because there are some rules that they have around schools that are owned by government and what certificates can get you in. That's where I was getting myself mixed up at the start. For TEFL jobs around the world to teach online and to teach face-to-face, basically you're looking at the 120 hours and you're looking for it to be a good quality company where the company has been checked by accredited providers. Hope that answered your question. I think that's all the questions. Thank you very much for staying with me. I hope I managed to answer your question. If I didn't, please do contact us. Now, this week, we've had some really great comments within our own TEFL group. So if you go on our Facebook group, put questions in there, people monitor it, people answer it, and also other teachers answer it. It's been some really good conversations this week about online teaching. Please also send us a message. Go to our website, tefl.org. There's a chat with us function in there. Send us a message. You can also send us messages through our own Facebook page. And we also read the messages on YouTube, LinkedIn, all that kind of thing. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and tell us why you enjoyed it, because I'm quite vain like that. But also, if you didn't like it, please do put that in the chat as well, because I need to learn about what we need to improve if we do need to improve. Thank you for the feedback already, Plague Von Com. Is your name actually Plague? That's quite interesting. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.